Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Sawalha-Adderleys for a wee update on the Israel-Iran contretemps. Is that the right word? I always love the sound of that word. I never know if it's the right word though. For the conflict, for the face-off, for the contest, for the Operation Rising Lion versus Operation, what is it, True Performance or something. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. Other adverts, Steph, apologies. We all have to earn a living. Carla Hatcham, sending love to you all. I know the news is incredibly dark right now, but don't lose hope in each other. So guys, the news tonight is rather depressing. Sending you love, Julie, sending you love, Ellery, too. Obviously, it's a bit of a chat about kind of global issues. So, and yes, Nanny Di, thank you for everyone who follows the channel. Nanny Di has had a lovely birthday. She's in the other room. She's resting and she's sleeping. And she had her five guys named Joe. Five guys. Anyway, so yeah, the big news tonight is that the UK. How do you feel about this, guys? The UK is moving RAF jets to the Middle East as Keir Starmer refuses to rule out defending Israel. Military assets are being sent, apparently, as contingency support as the Prime Minister repeats a call for de-escalation after Iran's retaliatory strikes. So he was repeatedly asked, Starmer, when he spoke to reporters on the plane to the G7 summit, he was repeatedly asked if this means that British jets are going to get involved. He said, I will always make the right decisions for the UK. We are moving assets to the region, including jets, and that is for contingency support in the region. Who believes him? Who believes him? Who trusts him? Who thinks that they're going to get more involved? I think they're going to get more involved. I think they're going to get fully involved. We're training IDF troops. So I think it's all ratcheting up for, hi Zoe, for an American-British conflab with Iran. We've talked at great length in the previous 2 or 3 lives about Iran's right, legally, not this isn't a kind of anti-Israel kind of rhetoric. They have a right, a United Nations right to respond. One could argue that they've responded. We have also talked in our previous lives about the fact that really Israel has delivered a hell of a sucker punch, decapitating most of the head personnel in the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, Air Force, hitting lots of targets. But doesn't it strike you as strange that the atomic agents, whatever the IAEA, International Atomic Agency group, they've said that under no circumstances should any country aim any kind of missiles or bombs at a nuclear installation. And yet Israel have done precisely that. I mean, once again, Israel have overstepped the permissible rules of engagement, and absolutely no one in the West has called them out for this. In fact, they've gone the opposite. They've actually decided to say that Iran, don't respond. But hang on, Israel's just attacked a nuclear site. Israel's attacked a nuclear site. It's the blatant hypocrisy and double standards. Does it stick in anyone else's craw? Is there anyone here who quite, we've said it often before, as long as you're polite, really up for a kind of contentious discussion? Because I'm of the opinion that you can't define which came first. Israel says Iran is an existential threat to Israel, but Israel is an existential threat to Iran, and vice versa. And so we're in that situation now. So for the sake of kind of like, let's say we had to get into say we've got 2 parents and we're trying to break up an argument, and we love both parents, though I don't, I'm not talking about love, but you just want to patch it up. Just say, look, okay, look, you're not happy. Let's just stop. But it requires Netanyahu, the warmongering psychopath, who by all accounts has flown to Greece and I think is now in Argentina. Let me show you this reel or a carousel reel by Danny fucking Price. Brilliant Instagram account. Do follow him if you wouldn't mind. 100% double standards, Alia Kuba. Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that the leaders of the free world, whatever the free world is, I'm amazed the leaders of the free world, or the world that are allowed atomic bombs without question, they don't see this. Do they? The part of it that I find really staggering, and actually the longer we go into this 20-month, sort of slowly evolving horror story of deceit and manipulation by the press and the governments and the way they lie to us and manipulate us and everything else, I get more and more incensed at the extent to which they treat us all as stupid. Do you get that? I find it more insulting the longer it goes on. That these perfunctory, useless, obvious, predictable, uninspiring, insipid leaders and officials who aren't qualified to do anything. Lammy, Starmer, none of them. Every time they say this stuff, they insult us again. The free world never existed, says Ben Wrong. The Nazis are still in control. Yeah, different Nazis. Where the fuck is Benjamin Netanyahu? Asks Danny fucking Price. On Friday, immediately after bombing Iran, Benjamin Netanyahu held a press conference in Israel, then got on a plane to Greece, leaving his citizens to deal with Iran's retaliation. What a little yellow-bellied coward. Straight after that, then at some point on Friday afternoon evening, Benjamin Netanyahu was seen in Buenos Aires, Argentina, with the president and UK indie band wannabe Javier Milei. Quite something, isn't it? Sort of lead singer of The Cure, who's kind of president of Argentina. Why did Benjamin Netanyahu go to Argentina? And why did Benjamin Netanyahu attend a meeting with Javier Milei and his team? And why the fuck are they looking at a map of... I love the questions. Why? Is he looking to move there? Is Benjamin Netanyahu planning to stay in Argentina or flee to Argentina to avoid consequences? Now, I want to draw an incredible historical parallel. If Netanyahu has gone to Argentina to look to escape the conflict because, I don't know, maybe Iran does know where their nuclear bombs are and they hit them and he doesn't want to die, Bibi doesn't want to die, you know, there's a precedent for fascistic regimes' leaders. In fact, let me ask you a question. Where do you think most of the fascists after World War II, most of the members of the Nazi Party, where do you think they evacuated to after World War II? This is interesting. I've just struck me, the parallels here, the incredible echoes across history, the parallels. I mean, you know, so a country constructed out of the debris and bones of a horrendous Holocaust is now delivering and engaging in a genocide. That in and of itself is something so hard to wrap one's historical head around. I mean, being gracious maybe to the likes of Keir Starmer, Lammy and everyone in the West, maybe they just can't wrap their head around this. Maybe they're just like, no, they can't be committing a Holocaust or a genocide. Of course they can be. Maybe it's because it's just so unbelievable. But like in a really good film where, you know, you're surprised by the character arc, you're like, no, it's real. Maybe there'll be a moment where someone goes, oh, fuck, it's real. So it's interesting, isn't it, that he's in Argentina looking at real estate or looking at maps when it's where most of the Nazis from Nazi Germany ran off to. That's curious, isn't it? I don't know what to make of that, really. Really odd. Stormbreaker, Keir Starmer isn't making any decisions. He's totally compromised and doing what he's told. You're absolutely right. But the point is, the reason that needs to still be shocking, and it's not that it's a surprise, it's not a surprise, but it's weird when one asks, and thank you for saying that, Stormbreaker, you're absolutely right. But it's sometimes quite wearing when you ask a sort of question, people think that you're genuinely asking it because you don't know the answer. You know, rhetorical questions can be, sometimes the exasperation of asking a question is the point of the question. You're trying to It's a performative question. So you're throwing exasperation at the situation because you just can't fucking believe it. And you're absolutely right. But doesn't that just reveal to us the patently absurd lunacy of a so-called democracy voting for someone, the supposed fear that we're all supposed to feel all the fucking time? We're all supposed to run around, get yourself a generator in the garden, Russian interference, British Steel, Chinese interference. Israel's controlling the whole fucking shit and shebang. But we don't run around going, oh, Zionist control. It's weird, isn't it? It's really weird. So UK moves jets to Middle East as Starmer refuses to rule out defending Israel. Oh, God. So we're going to have to tolerate his... we feel that there needs to be restraint. There needs to be restraint and a proper de-escalation. A proper de-escalation. Oh, for fuck's sake. Israel will strike every target in Iran, Netanyahu says. Israel claims to have air supremacy over Tehran. But don't forget, the propaganda machines are running on both sides. There is a massive censoring. The IDF is currently censoring, controlling, and restricting all social media footage of any of the impacts or strikes from Iran, because they need to promote, not only to their population, but to the rest of the world, that nothing is getting through the Iron Dome, nothing's hurting anyone, and don't worry, nothing to be seen here, which is why you see these remarkably sort of press released. Everyone can come out of the shelters. I'm sure, to be brutally honest with the Israeli population, they're like, can we just stay in there? You've told us to come in and come out about 65 times. So the news since last night and since this morning is that basically Iran is still hitting Israel. Israel's still hitting Iran. We've got some footage in a minute of some of the strikes. Iran, not surprisingly, has ruled out nuclear talks unless Israel stops strikes, but Israel hasn't stopped strikes. So not surprisingly, why would they go to nuclear talks? And Britain is sending RAF jets to the Middle East. Come back to the table, Macron urges Iran, a ludicrous statement and a ludicrous request when most of the people who are going to be at that table have been eliminated in their beds. This is a good post by Owen Jones. Please follow him. Where he's reposted by Asal Rad, Israel committing genocide in Gaza, Israel annexing the West Bank, Israel occupying parts of Lebanon and Syria, Israel bombs neighbors at will, Israel has nuclear weapons, Israel bombs Iran, killing civilians. World does nothing. Iran, in conjunction with the United Nations policy, retaliates. Israel, the world must not be silent. And like gimp little whippets, that's not nice to whippets, like little gimps, like latex coated gimps, America, France, Germany, and Britain, we condemn Iran. It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable that they can't see that it's just vaguely more complex than they're suggesting. Unforgivable. Netanyahu calls Iran strikes necessary to prevent a war that he started. I love the simplicity of that. Think about that. Just think about that for a minute. Netanyahu has called Iran strikes necessary. You know, the Israeli strikes on Iran as necessary to prevent a war that only he's just started. He's hit Iran preemptively to make sure they don't fight, and is surprised that he started the war that he says he preemptively won. Do you see where we're getting into really kind of murky kind of territory here? Do you see how they're, I've talked about this before, the illogicality. There is crass stupidity here, appealing to morons like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and rabid eyes on stalks people going, kill them all, kill them all. I mean, it's moronic. It is moronic behavior. And tonight, Iranian missiles fall in Haifa. You're going to see some of this. Iran launches another round of missiles at Israel in retaliation for attacks. The UK's Foreign Secretary, look at this. Let's just get rid of that there. The UK's Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, said he spoke to his Israeli counterpart, Gideon Saar, earlier. Is that a Gideon of Gideon's chariots, maybe? Lammy wrote on X, I expressed my concern for civilians in Israel and reiterated the UK's call for a de-escalation of tensions in the Middle East. Now is the time for us. I mean, this guy never ceases to fuck me right off every time he opens his fucking mouth. I expressed my concerns for... So do you have no concerns for Iranian civilians? What about your concerns for other civilians in other countries? Are we once again hearing Lammy say that only Israeli lives matter? It's phenomenal. Cat N. It's like punching someone because yeah, you're absolutely right. Punching someone because they might punch you, and when the police turn up, you go, it's all his fault. It's classic narcissism. What's the narcissistic rationale is this? Okay, I'm a narcissist. I punch you in the face because you hurt me. You upset me. No, is that right? I hurt you, and then you've punched me in the face, and that's hurt me, and that's really upset me. I've punched you in the face because you made me do it. Do you get me? Each way round, it's the other person's fault. Each way round, it's never the narcissist's fault. Either the narcissist has been compelled to do something because of the other person, or the other person's done something because the poor narcissist is always right. So it's just like that. It's just like going, I'll punch him in the face, and then you wonder why he punches you back. And when he does punch you back, I run to teacher. I run to teacher. Okay, well, let's have a look at some of the footage that's coming in. There is new footage. Iranian missile. These are all landing in Israel. Now, what you have to understand is a lot of the lights you see in the sky are actually missiles being intercepted by the Iron Dome. So do remember that. Here's some more. This is quite a heavy bombardment. Again, I think this is Haifa. This was screen recorded on X. Even the way, just going to pause for a second, even the way David said that, you could tell that he doesn't care for Jewish people at all. It's great that we're rescuing. It's great that we're saving the Jews. Do you know what? Everyone who is against, the vast majority of people who are against Israel's foreign policy are pro the Jews. Okay, just to clarify that. The single most corrosive, damaging thing for Jewish people around the world is Netanyahu and this rabid, supremacist, fascistic, stupid, barbaric, dense, moronic group of individuals, and all of those people who sort of cheer them along, the Zionist cheer group. The Zionist SWAT squad, as we call them, from Monsters Inc. Here's another clip. Iran targets Haifa oil fields. There's some hefty explosions here. You can see fires raging. There are lots of fires raging in Iran, lots of oil refineries, lots of oil fields have been hit in Iran. So they're really pounding each other at the moment. America is in the region with boats, and they have major warships with, anti-aircraft and anti-missile ballistic kind of machinery, air defense and all that kind of stuff, which they're firing. They've already used them. As I understand it, Jordan has closed its airspace, disallowing, well, it doesn't disallow, but it means they shoot down any drones or missiles that they can intercept coming from Iran. I want to play you a couple of, let me just play a couple more footage coming out of Israel. This is earlier today, where Israel, they've got Iran energy infrastructure, so lots of fires. here is a more rocket down on Haifa. Quite something, isn't it? I mean, a number of those are being intercepted. A lot of them are landing. Look at the ground. Look at the ground. You can see a lot of them are connecting. But the Israeli media would have you think not one of them is actually hitting. And then finally, these are all the clips. These are all the clips that are sort of circulating around on social media tonight. There's also been many rockets flying over and towards Jerusalem, which is tricky because, of course, it's very hard to kind of steer those missiles away from hitting the Palestinians as much as targeting. I don't even get me started on the convoy, the aid convoy trying to get to Egypt and the Egyptian authorities. What an absolute shambles, and what shameful, Egypt, shameful, doing the dirty work of Israel. Absolutely outrageous. And here we have some aftermath footage. Destruction in Tel Aviv. So as you can see, I mean, quite a bit is getting through. Quite a bit is getting through. Carla Hatcham, isn't it tedious when you do have to explain the difference between Zionism and the Jewish faith multiple times? People just can't be bothered to work out the difference. People just don't want to hear the difference. They just don't want to hear the difference. So this is sizable damage here. Sizable damage. I also know that, just let that play out. It's quite, these are images one's used to seeing in Gaza. So, Iranian ballistic missiles are hitting their targets. I also know, of course, my wife Nadia. For those of you who know the channel, you'll know Nadia very well. But if you don't, do subscribe to the channel. We will be concentrating on this conflict and continue to talk about Gaza for the duration. Really, my wife Nadia, she's half Jordanian. I do know that her uncle is currently stuck, I think, in Qatar. He was on a job there. But his wife is on her own in Amman, and she says it's just incredibly frightening and unsettling. You've got ballistic missiles, drones flying over you, all this kind of stuff. It's just petrifying. So Netanyahu. So let's just have a look at what the latest news wires are saying. Let's have a look. Let's bring you right up to date. So 10 minutes ago, a fire has broken out after Israel's attack on the Tehran oil refinery. Several missiles have been seen over Jerusalem. Reuters have reported air raid sirens going off in Haifa. The Israeli military said it's identified missiles launched from Iran on Saturday. The Israeli military has admitted that Iran still has an arsenal that can cause grave damage to Israel. Unsurprisingly, Oman has announced the latest Iran-US nuclear talks have been cancelled, mainly because most of the people who would have attended it have been killed. Iranian authorities said that Israel's airstrikes on Friday killed at least 30 military personnel in East Azerbaijan province, according to the news agency. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Saturday that Israel's strikes have set Iran's nuclear program back, possibly by years, and that heavier blows were still to come. I think what we're all looking for in the rhetoric that comes out of both sides is the off ramp, aren't we? We're looking for the kind of off ramp where they can kind of, so if Netanyahu can sort of claim, we've compromised the nuclear threat, even though there wasn't a nuclear threat, but he can say that. Maybe then he'll climb down. But I think the problem we've got with Netanyahu is he is the proponent of the forever war, and most people who are forever kind of going, yeah, well, we need to show Iran a thing or two, and it's about Israel and up the Zionists and they don't ever really talk about the fact that actually, okay, being a fundamentalist is one thing, but how do you explain the fact that Netanyahu is really trying to dodge a bullet, a court case, and possibly going to jail and losing an election? So I don't think it's as simple as him looking for an off-ramp. I think this could last 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know what will happen at the end of this. Meanwhile, God only knows what is happening in Gaza, as there's a complete terminating of all, fiber optics. There's no internet. There's no 4G, 3G, 2G, whatever. Probably not even allowed 1G. So it's curious to know where the off-ramp is there. What could the off-ramp be for Iran? I mean, Iran have a lot of ballistic missiles. Can they just keep firing them? I mean, I think Iran, the things to look out for is if Iran decides to hit an American base or British planes, that's escalatory, though they have warned and said, but don't do it because otherwise we'll hit you, we'll give you a slap. That's not a good sign. I mean, and why do we want it to we don't want death on any side. I mean, I know a lot of people are gloating and loving and enjoying the fact that Israel's being slapped. I mean, I can't stand Netanyahu and I can't stand his government, but I certainly don't want to see Israeli citizens mindlessly killed. But equally, I want David Lammy and all of our leaders to care as much about Iranian citizens. It's just just this fucking double standard. It's just, as Greta Thunberg said, whatever you think of Greta, it's racism. And to know that David Lammy's assistant or aide was David Mensa, one of the most evil advocates of Netanyahu's devilry. If you ever see him on TV, he's that sort of supercilious toff who's so sort of, patronizing. Ugh. Israel doesn't care if they are a pariah state, says be at peace. As long as they get what they want, they're hoping if they succeed 10, 20 years from now, people will forget it. It will be just another history lesson. I tell you what we're seeing around the world, and I think this has all started to go wrong. You could argue since Crimea, since Ukraine, but certainly since the Gaza genocide, is just, you can feel that all the rules of engagement between countries and within countries is collapsing. You can really feel that there's a disregard for the rules-based system. I mean, the very fact that Israel has seen fit to hit nuclear sites, it's just, and I keep having to take you back to, remember when Russia hit the one in Ukraine? Everyone had went into an apoplectic fit. Oh, we're going to have another Chernobyl. Quite understandably. But suddenly, if Israel hit loads of fucking nuclear installations and sites in Iran, it's probably not so much of a problem because they'll only kill Iranians. It's only going to affect Iranians. So that's where we're at. It hasn't ratcheted down. The UK are waiting in the wings. Donald Trump is just an absolute spectacularly orange moron. Who just sort of it's a really unedifying sort of image, isn't it? Spectacle. Watching Donald Trump he's almost on the edge of things. It's not quite his war, but he wants to say it's excellent. And he wants to say, yes, it's good and it's big and it's beautiful, but it's not really his. And he needs to let the world know that really he did know. It wasn't really Netanyahu who did it. I knew. It's unedifying. That's what it is. It's unedifying. So God only knows where this is going to lead, and God only knows what the night will bring. Presumably much more of the same. I'm not entirely sure how robust the Iron Dome is, whether Iran knows that by repeatedly pounding it, it runs down the batteries and it doesn't become as effective. So it's interesting to keep one's eye on it. I mean, the other interesting thing to note is Iran haven't engaged any of their fighter jets yet. I mean, as I understand it, they have as many fighter jets, not so sophisticated, but they have as many as Israel, but they haven't engaged any of them. So you wonder, there must be someone there thinking, let's hit them in sort of waves of incremental kind of horror. Let's, Iron Dome ineffective against ballistic missiles. So do you think it's the Americans that are intercepting most of the ballistics? Or do you think most of the ballistics are landing? And we're just not being told? For sure, I think Israel aren't sharing the full extent of the damage. Keir Starmer has to get involved because he's Donald Trump's gimp. And now we've got this really next unedifying, it's a great word, it's the most unedifying image of all now, is going to be Keir Starmer with a sort of giant head on a tiny body, sort of running after Netanyahu. Let's not forget, Lammy, Starmer, they're all saying we've been on the phone to Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a man who's wanted for war crimes. There's an arrest warrant out. They haven't they haven't paused for a minute to think, wow, you know, maybe should we call this guy? Do not forget, Israel has provoked this current conflict. Don't let any of this preemptive strike bollocks take purchase. It's a load of old shit. He wants a never-ending war, a forever war, so that he can keep his kind of claws on the throne. It's just weird that he's gone to Greece and then Argentina. So anyway, maybe he's doing a sort of, well, I won't say, a tour of duty in the footsteps of history, shall we say. Anyway, guys, I hope that was kind of clarifying. What you have seen there are most of the clips that have landed tonight. Those are most of the clips that nearly all of the Middle East Eye, Al Jazeera, the Telegraph, the Guardian, that they're all running, that are emerging. As I say, there isn't much coming out of Israel, not surprisingly. Every time sort of a barrage happens, Israel almost sort of, they issue a press release saying, everyone out of the bunkers. It's like they're trying to pretend it's a party. It's really odd. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for all of your comments. Thanks for your thoughts. You're not going mad. If we do one thing on this channel, we will forever provide a forum that looks at the mainstream media and the mainstream narrative and just go, fuck you. You're trying to manipulate me and you're spinning a lie. We will forever challenge it alongside you. So, I mean, the amount of people come up to us on the street or when we're out and about saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just to hear what you're saying makes me not feel like I'm going mad. You're not going mad. They are manipulating it. And because of the, someone sort of indicated this, because of the, I think Carla, because of the extraordinary strength, sorry, it's getting late, but because of the extraordinary strength and effectiveness and potency of the accusation of anti-Semitism, which we have all quite rightly for many, many years had it threaded into us that this is a really important thing not to fight against, like racism, like homophobia, like misogyny. These are, you know, it's another form of racism, isn't it? Cultural racism. When that's become weaponized, when the wellspring of fighting anti-Semitism has been poisoned by a nation that is populated principally by Jewish people, but not all the Jewish people in Israel have exploited the term in this way, but the government sees fit to essentially take advantage of and exploit and rinse the guilt and the history of things like the Holocaust and use it to justify their own genocidal behavior, and then use it to weaponize anyone or, you know, demonize anyone who is critical. That's the most unforgivable corruption of anti-Semitism. It really is. When Benjamin Netanyahu came out with this phrase, didn't he, about 10 months ago, it is a new anti-Semitism, when he described the protests and the encampments across America. No, the new anti-Semitism, matey flip, is yours. Benjamin Netanyahu is the most anti-Semitic man on the planet, and he has made the lives of Jewish people across the globe infinitely more dangerous. On that thought, let's all head to bed. Night, guys. Happy Father's Day for the mornings. And you will be getting a Sunday show. It might be landing a little bit later. It's still got parts of it to be edited. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking with it. And let's all just keep pulling each other up, because sometimes, I mean, believe you me and Nadia, that's why Nadia is away with her friends having a day off. It can pull you down. You can begin to question yourself so much. All right, guys. Lots of love. See you on the morrow.